The client used to access the lifetime library is selected based on the type of actions that are desired. There are multiple clients available for interacting with the data grid. These include web browsers, which are the simplest interface. Access can be done through a browser such as Safari, Firefox, or Internet Explorer. Depending upon the combination of browser and operating system, there may be limitations on the displays. We will use the cloud browser and the iDrop web browser. Web services provide standard actions for browsing files, querying metadata, accessing files, and executing files. CyberDuck is an interface that unifies access to the data grid, FTP, Dropbox, and other data transport systems. CyberDuck is primarily used to move files from the repository to the laptop. WebDAV is an interface that supports the mounting of a data grid as a directory on your laptop. Applications can be run directly on the mounted collections. Fuse, or File System and User Space, also supports mounting of a data grid as a directory on your laptop. Note that accessing the mounted files will incur network latencies on each transfer. If the files are located on the other side of the continent, the latencies will be on the order of 60 milliseconds per file access. Jargon is a Java I/O library that provides a native Java implementation of the iRODS protocol. Scripting languages such as Python and PHP can access files in the data grid. Digital libraries can access the data grid through the ModeShape protocol. And Unix I commands are the most powerful interface, providing support for bulk operations rule execution and administration. The Lifetime Library has a web portal at lifetime-library.ils.unc.edu. The portal provides information about the library, a note from the dean on the library's purpose, video tutorials on using the iDrop web browser, a desktop client, and student opportunities. The video tutorials describe each of the operations supported by the browser. The student opportunities describe projects that can be based on the Lifetime Library. The cloud browser is a newly developed interface to the iRODS data grid. The cloud browser is designed to support virtual collections that are listed on the left side of the screen. The virtual collections provide a way to record queries that generate a list of files. The file list can then be displayed with access supported to each file in the list. An example is the concept of starred files. These are files that are marked as important. Any file in any collection can be so designated. Clicking on the starred files virtual collection will list the files. A second virtual collection is called root. If the data grid is federated with other data grids, you can navigate to files in their collections by clicking on the root collection. You will see a list of federated data grids and can drill down to files for which you have access. The third virtual collection is your home directory. You are presented with the collections that you own. You can navigate through the collections, retrieve files, list metadata on files and collections, move files, rename files, etc. The cloud browser displays a single level of a collection. The sub-collection names are listed first, followed by the names of the files in the collection. If you click on a sub-collection, you will then see the next level of the collection hierarchy, including the sub-collection and files at that level. The data grid supports an arbitrary number of collection levels in the hierarchy. Any operation that generates a list of files may be registered as a virtual collection. This will include queries on external repositories, searches on files that have specific metadata attributes, searches on system parameters such as file size and creation date. The current version of the cloud browser provides the framework for listing results, browsing through the list, and accessing files in the list. The next version of the cloud browser will support views for displaying the data. This will include the invocation of helper applications on your laptop to enable direct editing of files without having to download them first. The operations currently supported by the cloud browser include browse through all the file names in a collection, load, retrieve, move, copy, or delete files, add, list, modify, and delete metadata on files and collections, list, create, move, and rename collections, track breadcrumbs, the collection hierarchy that is traversed to reach a file. Operations that will be provided relatively soon include support to set access controls, data sharing and public access, edit and execute a rule file stored in the data grid, import metadata using a metadata template. Capabilities that have been planned for the cloud browser include registration of new queries to generate virtual arrangements. The current queries that are supported are for starred files, your home collection, and federated data grids. New queries will be available to list files that you shared and files that are shared with you. The federation of two data grids requires the establishment of a trust relationship, a shared secret, between the two grids. This is a data grid administration operation that must be done by the administrators of each data grid. For each user, an account has to be created in the federated data grid, which specifies the account name and the home data grid name. When you access a federated data grid, your authentication is done by your home data grid and the authorization is done by the federated data grid. Take 7 minutes and complete exercise 14. Log on to the Lifetime Library and load 5 files. Write a paragraph on how you want to organize the files. Do you want to use subcollections to group files? How do you want to name the files? Do you embed semantic information in the file name or the collection name? Or do you put descriptive semantics into metadata on files or on the collection? Please load your paragraph into the Lifetime Library in the subcollection class INLS 624 by the end of today's class.